those hands together for BECC tonight. Are y'all having a great time here? I love it. I love it. We're having a great time. But here, I stood up tonight to tell you ladies and gentlemen about the power of partnership. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about three things, and I want you to listen to me carefully. Three things I'm going to talk about tonight. Number one, I'm going to talk about courage. Number two, I'm going to talk about responsibility, right? And number three, I'm going to talk about good positioning. Watch this. For over 25 years, I refereed NCAA Division I basketball. I flew around the country refereeing games. Sometimes there could be 10,000 people in the stadium. Sometimes it was 20,000 people in the stadium. And for some reason, I could hear them yelling at me each and every night. They were saying, "We love you, David." I don't think they were saying that to the referee. But I remember one night, I was having a game. It was a good game. The game went all the way down to the wire. And with 4 seconds left, the blue team scored a basket, and now they were winning the game by 2 points. A timeout was taken, and the teams were on the side, and they were huddling, making preparation for the final play of the game. Of course, there was another team on the court, my partners, the referees. We talked about which referee or which partner was going to be responsible for making the final decision of the game. The decision did not rest in my hand. It was my partner's responsibility to make the last call. So both teams now come out, 4 seconds left, the ball is inbounded, they dash up down the court, and they go to take the final shot. I get myself in position so I could see that his foot was behind the three-point line. In my mind, if the ball went through the basket, the game was going to be over. So the player takes the shot. The ball is in the air. As the clock is running out, the ball goes through the basket. I see it go through. I say game over. I turn and I run off the court, headed to the locker room. Well, halfway down the tunnel to the locker room, I turn, I look over my shoulder, but I don't see my two partners behind me. I say to myself, well, where are they? So I turn around and I run back out onto the court. And when I get out onto the court, I see my two partners, but now they are surrounded by both teams and all of the coaches. They were wondering what happened. So I ran over and got into the huddle. And when I got into the huddle, I realized what had happened. That my partner didn't make the final decision that told everybody whether it was a two-pointer or a three. If it was a two-pointer, we would go to overtime. But if it was a three-point goal, the game would be over. So because I knew what happened, I stepped in and I said, he's behind the three-point line. It's a three-point goal. The game is over. Well, something happened after I made that decision. Do we have any pastors here? Any reverends? Yeah, any reverends here? Well, y'all forgive me for saying this, but all hell broke loose. They began to yell and scream and holler and say, you cheated us. You took the game from us. I heard somebody say, we're going to see you outside. I think that guy was from New York. So the officials, the tournament team said, game's over. We go into the locker room. And I looked at the partner and I asked him, what happened? Why didn't you step in right on time and make the decision that you were assigned to make? He didn't give a good answer that night. So for the next 2 or 3 days, I kept saying, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's his fault. He was the one who was responsible for making the final decision in a critical game. But then I began to think about whether or not I was a good partner in that play. I saw what happened. But was I a good partner that night? So I learned some lessons from that experience of being on that court, being in the game, being involved with partners, and understanding the power of partnership. And here's the 3 lessons that I learned. Here's the first thing. I learned that you have to choose presence over position. You have to choose presence over position. I was in the right position and I saw the play, but my partner didn't feel my presence. Because see, I decided to go home early. Anybody ever checked out of the job early? Left the, yeah, all y'all need to raise your hand. Left to work for somebody else because you knew it was somebody else's responsibility. So what did you do? I'm going home. Let them take care of it. And that's what I did that night. In essence, I went home early. I checked out early, but I didn't realize in the moment that my partner needed my help and my partner needed my presence. But my presence wasn't there. I had the position. And you know, sometimes we have position. We have titles. We have status. And sometimes we think a title or status or a position means more than your presence. How many leaders we got in here? How many of y'all got a title? Let me see those of you that got a title. Well, many of us do. But it's not about your title. You can be the highest ranking officer in the city, but that doesn't make you a good leader if you don't show up with your presence. My teammate needed my presence that night, and I didn't show up for him. Here's the second thing that I learned about that experience is that you have to have courage over comfort. See, a lot of people don't want to have courage in situations like that. Can you imagine if I knew that my partner was supposed to make the right decision or the decision in the game, and I decided I'm not going to go over there and help him because I'm afraid what somebody might think about me? How many of you have ever said, I'm not going to do that because I'm afraid that if I do something that somebody's going to say something about me? How many have ever been there? Yeah, we've all been there, because sometimes we worry about what other people think about us. We worry about whether or not, if I step into an area that's not my responsibility, what will other people think about me? They'll say she's a know-it-all. She's trying to do things. No, your partner needs your help. So you have to say, I will not be afraid to help my partner. You know, it was Nelson Mandela who said that courage is not the absence of fear, but that I triumph over it. The next time you see that your partner needs your help, you have to have the courage to step in and help. Here's the last thing that I want to share with you about what I learned about that experience, is that you have to have responsibility over roles. Sometimes we think that the role we have is the right role, or it's a role that does not require me to get involved. You cannot allow your role to keep you from helping your partner when you know your partner needs some help. So many people say that, again, not my job. How many people ever said that? Raise your hand, be honest, tell the truth. You said, not my job. How many people, well, watch this. You CEO of a company, but you see something that needs to be done, but you say it's her job to do it. But what happens that if you are the boss, if you are the leader, that could be a teacher, that could be a pastor, that could be a president, it doesn't matter. What happens if you would step up and say, it's not about my role, but it's about my responsibility? I think we would have great impact. I think that the job would get done even better. So as I close my little conversation with you tonight, you know, you've come tonight to partner with BECC. I know you're a partner because you've already bought your ticket. You're already here. Your presence is here. Some of you, your money is here. And of course, the job doesn't end tonight because there's more work to be done. There's more community involvement, community impact, community growth that needs to take place. And this particular organization needs for you to partner even more with us. So here's what I want you to do as I take my seat. Number one, I want you, what happens if we felt your presence? What happens if you would get rid of any fears or any anxiety that you might have and say, I'm going to help that organization? And what happens if you would also take responsibility for the work that has to be done in this community? And of course, it's not just about BECC. All of us need to work together. It doesn't matter what it is that we do. We're all here one for another. You know, there's a scripture that always indicates that two are better than one, and the threefold cord is not easily broken. The text talks about partnership, collaboration, because once we come together, we cannot lose. Before I take my seat, here's what I want you to do. In that little referee envelope you got there, I want you to scan that card. And I got a gift for you. I want you to scan that card, fill it out, and then I want a gift for you. But listen, I'm going to get the DJ. DJ, are you ready? Because we're getting ready to leave here. I want everybody to stand on your feet, and I want you to get your whistle in your hand. Get your whistle in your hand. Yeah, I'm going to write a song. Get your whistle. Where my whistle at? Right? I'm going to write me a song. And here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do going home. You don't have to stand, but just get your whistle in your hand. Here's what I want you to do. The next time you see that whistle, I want you to blow the whistle on poor partnership. Next time you see that whistle, I want you to blow the whistle and say, I'm a good partner. DJ, are you ready? Come on. Come on. Thank you for having me tonight.